Salutations gamers, and welcome back to an edited playthrough of the mod Viaria at Impera for Total War Rome 2. In this episode we'll be tackling an important milestone in any campaign, and that is changing our government type. I've already mentioned it in the last episode, but we will obviously want to become an empire. Not only because Imperium Romanum sounds way cooler than Roman Republic, but also because there are a lot of benefits to being an empire, such as improved loyalty, which we will need as we continue expanding. This is obviously a monumental task and easier said than done, as it comes along with massive penalties to both our public order and our loyalty for now. Alongside a crazy amount of rebellions that will arise, we will also tackle some other enemies in Spain as well as Mauritania, and our explosive rise has not gone unnoticed by some former enemies that will declare war on us, as well as one of our biggest rivals in the Mediterranean Sea. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. Welcome to the Eternal City, where since the end of the last episode I advanced somewhat into the future, I think about 8 turns or so, and I had a look across our empire and stabilized places, improved our economy and integrated Spain to a degree after we defeated the Carthaginians last time around. I've also recruited 2 new armies, one of which we actually started recruiting, and there's a third one being built right now. Let's take a look across our empire and kind of get an idea of what's going on. So in Rome, we have finished the tier 4 building construction. So we're making a lot more money now, currently making 23,000. And you have to keep in mind it is currently winter, so the amount of money we're making is lower. I think it's usually more about 28,000 in total for our entire empire. But Rome alone is making 23,000 wealth every single turn. We're also building tier 4 buildings down here in Terras, as I realized the public order down here is now pretty good, and with the aqueducts that we have, squalor should also not be much of an issue anymore. Things are looking good in Sicily, Corsica, Sardinia. Africa is looking pretty good. I realized that Africa is going to take a little while before we can upgrade this to tier 4. But the public order is just not very good. We have a lot of negatives from unrest, so we are not going to upgrade this to level 4 just yet. Oh, I'm just realizing there's some pirates here. Where's my fleet? Fleet. Oh yeah, right. My fleet is down here. So this looks a little bit ungodly. We are raiding the faction of the Gaetuli down here with 4 armies, one of which is a fleet. And you can see they're struggling a little bit with the situation. We're not yet at war. I'm not sure if they are out of supplies. Yeah, they're out of supplies. Our armies are fine, I think in part because they are supplied by baggage train. So these guys are taking attrition now every single turn, and you can see there's probably a rebellion triggering here very soon. And I've cancelled all trade with them, so we can pretty much just at any point go and snag them. I've basically prepared this for us on a silver platter for this episode. This is also where our fleet is. They're also raiding them. I'm actually going to turn those around and send them towards the pirates now, as the Gaetuli are pretty much done for. Now, up in Spain, it's a very similar picture. I've cancelled all trade with the Lusitani, and we are raiding them on 2 armies, and 2 armies are preparing to strike at Ebora. One of these armies is also sort of a Spanish army. You can see we're actually going to start taking attrition here soon. That's because we are very likely out of supplies here. Yeah. We're going to pull these guys back, but in this region, there's also pretty much no supplies, as you can see. So we really have to finish our business over here. I think what we're going to do in this turn is immediately attack the Lusitani. I'm going to send my spy along the coast here. One issue is that the Lusitani are actually military allies of the Atabri. And if you paid attention in the last 2 episodes or so, the Atabri actually are, well, they were our client states. But I've cancelled this client state agreement. It's probably not long enough ago that I cancelled it. So we're very likely going to take some penalty here, but it is what it is. This is the right moment to attack the allies at Tabri. Okay, steadfast, we're actually fine. Okay, here we are on the battlefield. I've put everything into slow-mo after aligning our armies here. You see this is an incredibly wide front line, which in part is happening because the Scutari obviously have a loose formation, and there's 300 units in there. So you can see they have a decent amount of armor, and they're really not unarmored or anything, but they're not on the level of our legionaries, obviously. I want to turn this up so you can take a look at the unit stats if you want. With 29 morale, they're a little bit down there right now because of the penalties that we're getting, but it's all right. We'll live. We have the Asturian Axemen over here. These guys, similar story. Obviously have their axes, they have javelins. A fantastic unit as well for what it is, using foreigner population. On the right side, we have the standard Kurisi. We've already seen these. These guys are new, the Celtiberian heavy cavalry, and they are definitely heavy cavalry. You can see they have some nice mail scale armor. In the back, we have our Balearic slingers, the Romanized Balearic slingers, who are already in action, throwing rocks at the enemy. Obviously, the trees here are not ideal, but there wasn't a better spot. And then we also have the Ballista here, which is also part of the the Iberian army, which is already bombarding our enemies. So let's see what happens here. We have some Iberian cavalry in the back that I'm going to send out to the left. I think what we're going to do here is a flank with our Balearic slingers too. Send them up on the hill. This will give them a good angle, although the tree line here is slightly blocking things. Throwing our javelins now. We're going to go for a push here, I think, with our Iberians. Get the Axemen in there as well. And I think what we'll do now is just a full frontal assault pretty much everywhere. Put you in melee mode and let's do a group attack. Let's hope this doesn't get messed up. There we go. Missile infantry ready. We have our axes flanking around. We have lots of cavalry in their back too. This is, you know, it's a formality, this battle. So artillery is going to be useful even in field battles, right? It's not really just something that you use for sieges or anything like that. The extra range often prompts your enemies into attacking you, and that allows you to be a little bit more defensive. Artillery is something that I really like on especially immobile factions, such as any successor kingdom with their phalanx units, Greek factions with hoplites. Any faction where you really want to bait the enemy into attacking you. There we go. Let's overrun them real quick. Make sure we get all of the experience. There we go. That's one settlement taken away from the Lusitani. Let's take a look at the supply situation, as things seem a little bit dire. So supplies, as you can see, are okay. It's actually better than in the other region, but I still don't think we should pull up more troops, really. Okay, these armies are going to take a bit of attrition. That's really unavoidable. They already had taken a bit of attrition before. I'm gonna try and march them into, well, one of them into Numantia up here. Things aren't really gonna get better down here in Gadia. I think they have to go back to Mastia. Now, down here, as you can see, we have enough movement to attack. I'm just not sure if it's really necessary that we attack already. Something interesting that's going on as well is obviously recruiting another legion over here. We do have access to the level 3 auxiliary barracks units now. So for example, in Italy, we can get the Italic auxiliary spearmen, which are great units for our flanks. Now up here in Retia Noricum, we have also been raiding. And I think it is actually time that we attack up here as well. And this will pull us into a war with the Reti as well, because they are military allies. And we're going to go for that. Okay. And I think there's another battle that I'll fight. Okay, here we are. There's one other army coming in. As always, we go for a standard setup. You can see the Corps Prima in the center. Up front, we have our Legionary Javelin. Left, right side, we have some Ala Legionaria. So we're going to get close up. We have up front some archers. We also have, somewhat unusually, some crossbowmen from Sicily. And these guys will be great help as well. They have fantastic range. There's this range that sort of rivals slingers as well, with 215 range, like the Balearic slingers, for example. These guys have 218 right here. You see they're moving some Celtic warriors here. I'm going to start splitting up my army, my cavalry a little bit. These are Celtic warriors. I don't really want to run into them while they are not pinned. We'll just outmaneuver them basically using our cavalry. And meanwhile, we will start skirmishing. So these Celtic bowmen right here should get deleted pretty much by our very experienced archers. We have great skirmishes. Especially our crossbowmen obviously are very high experience. You can see they are getting quite a few kills, 34 kills already. And you can see they are charging us now. Our legionaries are gonna throw their javelins and, you know, they're pretty much dead. Now you see there's a big flanking maneuver here. These guys are obviously just trying to chase the cavalry, but I think they're going to change their mind soon and attack us on the left side here. So we'll move over some units preemptively, get them in position. And I think our infantry should engage now, so we'll group them up, go melee, and let's go. Meanwhile, our legionary javelin should start throwing their javelins. Our archers are going to switch to fire arrows, which is available because the weather is snowing and not raining. And these guys, as I said, look, they're now trying to crash into our side, but we have our reinforcements already in position. Move our generals up. And let's run in there, and this should basically end them at this point. We're going to go improved Inspire. Inspire over here as well. Run in there with our veterans. These guys are now freed up too, these cavalrymen. Okay, we'll cycle charge once more, get them out. And that's 4 cavalry units. You see they're pulling back some units here. These are Celtic warriors blocking this off. I'm gonna shuffle these guys over this direction and we'll just charge from another angle. Them pulling back from the front line isn't necessarily like bad for us. The fact that they're protecting their back, because it means our infantry has an easier time now, right? And they'll also take some casualties whenever they are pulling back. Helvetii trying to run for the hills, literally. And that's that. And that is Octoduran in our hands. Obviously, it's a little bit concerning that the Mediometrici are standing right next to this. But I'm sure they will turn around. There's actually another army back here, as you can see. It's a little bit concerning. The Reti have an army over here, but also away from their settlement. I don't know if they are in reinforcement range. We are at war with them now. Actually, I should have thought that through a little bit more. I'm gonna put this army into fortification stance, as they are completely out of movement. And these guys should make their way into Cisalpina to get a bit of replenishment, and then also join the other army at Coria very soon. Ideally when it's not winter anymore. For next research, we're going to go for the consensual contracts, which is going to give us loyalty, increased tax rate. It's going to give us increased public order and reduced empire maintenance by a massive 8%. And at our incredible research rate of 416%, this is only going to take us 11 turns as well. So that is fantastic. In Octoduran, you can see the Mediometrici are now retreating. We're going to move our other army over into this territory. Hopefully not take any mountain pass attrition. It's always a little bit hard to tell. They might take some here. We're going to wait here for one more turn, and then we will be attacking Coria as well with both armies in tow. We might actually wait until the Helvetii here are decimated, as they are currently taking attrition, obviously. They do not have a settlement anymore. Meanwhile, over here in Spain, I also want to wait for a little bit more replenishment. So we'll just continue fixing these settlements for the time being. Now, this episode is going to be very special because we are going to become an empire. So if I go into faction here, politics, click on Republic, empire, we have the money, we have the influence, we have the loyalty. Let's do this. Welcome to the Imperium Romanum, the Roman Empire. Now, one thing that we will be struggling with over the next few turns is going to be horrific public order across the board. So to combat that, what we're going to do is reduce our tax levels. We're not going to put it down to 0, or well, very low taxes. But we're going to lower it 1 notch. This is going to improve public order across the board a little bit. We see it's pretty much negative everywhere. So this is going to destabilize things. We'll have to maybe raise armies in some places. Some places we will just not tax in their entirety. You can see we don't have a lot of money in the coffer, but I've decided it is time to get this done. One thing we'll be struggling with also is getting rid of some of the influence that we've built. As you can see, if I hover over this, Whispers of Tyranny is still active even while we are an empire. So we want to get that down to overly influential, ideally. And for that, we're going to have to use some characters from other factions, right? Get them some gravitas. And we will also ideally want to get rid of some of our own characters. So I've seriously considered just going in and assassinating our faction leader's wife here, as she is incredibly powerful. She has like, what, 1,300 gravitas or something. So we're going to go in here and do that. I know I'm a little bit ruthless, but this is going to be... Should he murder his own wife as well? 57, lots of gravitas. I think for the Roman Empire, we're going to do that. So we have just lowered our gravitas by a staggering amount, and that should over time result in less influence for us. And we're going to continue just promoting their generals, you know, using the women of the other political factions for political intrigues, such as organizing games. And that should rank them up, which in turn will give them more gravitas, which in turn will increase their influence, which in turn will lower our own influence, which will result in us having bonuses again rather than negative effects from incredible influence. Now, that's it for this turn. That was quite the turn. Not only did we become an empire, we also murdered 2 wives. And yeah.
Set aside
The Chatti want to trade with us. In return for a bit of money.
Traders can bring prosperity to all.
I think we're gonna go for that. They're willing to pay us 4,800. And one thing that I've noticed is that the Germanic tribes are very scary. For the simple reason that the Loigos, which I can't show right now, but the Loigos are on good terms allied with pretty much everyone up there. So you can see the Chatti have an agreement with the Loigos, but the Loigos are also friends with the Toriski, with the Latovici, and I mean like military allies. There's also another faction, I think I'm not sure who it was. There's another faction that they're friends with, and between them, that's pretty much all of Germania. I know the Nervi have kind of pushed up there, and you can see they're also friends with the Loigos. That means being on good terms with the Chatti here is going to improve our relationship with the Loigos, and the Loigos are going to like us more. We're already trading with them, by the way. I think I went for that trade agreement a while ago. What I'm saying here is that this is going to stabilize our north a little bit. So we're going to go for that. Unfortunately, I can't ask for more money.
We come to you in strength to speak words of strength.
Okay, we're going to accept that, even though that's going to put us to trustworthy. I don't really mind the Otapri staying alive. And we're going to start sieging Olisipo here. Move this army up to him. Now this army here, as you can see, is already replenished, and that is because of their baggage train, right? They formed a supply line, while these guys here do not have a baggage train and they are taking attrition. So another reason why baggage trains are good. Even in your own regions, they can be beneficial, at least in situations like this. A lot of these regions, public order should stabilize pretty quickly. We had a lot of public order stored up, but places like Syracuse here, for example, are a little bit worrying. We're actually going to move this army down here, down into Sicily preemptively, just to make sure that there's no shenanigans happening, as these guys might just be, you know, 3, 4, 5 turns away from a rebellion if things go badly. Okay, now up here, you see the Helvetii are raiding. What I'm going to do is I'm going to siege Coria and circle, and then we're going to attack the Helvetii, which will prompt them to retreat. It's kind of sad though, because they're raiding their friends over here. And we're going to wipe them out separately here real quick. Their mistake was trusting us and going for trade agreements, by the way. I'm just saying. And then we'll delete the settlement here and integrate that into our empire. Which I can say now because we are an empire, which is fantastic. So this place untax. I'm not going to spend any money here right now, as I mean we just don't have any. I don't want to go bankrupt, ideally, so we're gonna hold on to this. I think we should actually attack down here. The reason being, I think we might be getting crippled by the supply costs, the logistics costs. So we're gonna go for this right now, and I'm gonna use these two armies here. Where you guys? Oh, you guys are raiding still. Take them out of raiding stance. What? Hello? Why can't I attack? What am I missing? Oh, you guys just didn't have enough range? Oh no, you are in this army's range of influence. That's what's happening. These guys move next to us. Oh, that is dumb. Okay, now you're free. How can that happen? That is so strange. Okay, so that is two armies. And you see the balance of power is still not great. This is definitely one that we should probably fight ourselves. Meanwhile, up here, we can also challenge this army to a field battle, which I think we should do. I think we should challenge these guys, and this one I'm also going to fight. So let's do this one here first. These guys are definitely already pretty beaten up. It's not going to be as much of a challenge. Again, one of our most experienced generals. The other one that we started with, I think it was in the 2nd Legion. He actually died as well. From natural causes, believe it or not. Alright, pretty standard setup here. Legionaries in the middle. Either side we have some spearmen. These spearmen have some scutari behind them, which are the mercenary version with swords, which have excellent melee attack. Then on the right side we have some legionary cavalry, as well as the elephants. And on the far left side we have skirmishers, including Numidian cavalry, but also the Campanian cavalry that have, again, been with us since the start of this match. Now I'm spying the enemy general here on the left side. So guess who we're going to go skirmish with all of our skirmish cavalry. Cause some havoc. We don't have a reserve this time around, and that's mostly because we have fewer legionaries in this army. We're gonna take a bit of damage here from units that have javelins, but we will tank that in order to be able to skirmish against the enemy general, because if we can kill him with our units, that'll be massive. Now, spread out our units a little bit and attack him from different sides. See, he's retreating, but it's not gonna be any good. And between the three of them, there's not much hope for these units. They're gonna trying to go for a desperate charge here, as they realize there's no hope for them, and that is the enemy general dead. We do have some ammo left, so I think we're gonna target this light spear unit in the back next. Go for this. Meanwhile, infantry has moved up. We have our ranged units over there now. Just 2 units of Extensi that we realistically should look at replacing at some point. And 1 unit of the Numidian archers. Now we have some Maori cavalry here. So these are skirmishing units. Pretty fast. Not as good as the Numidian cavalry in my estimation. The enemy front line consists of spearmen. Very simple spearmen. 8 melee attack. They are basically no danger at all for our legionaries. Just across the board, trash spearmen. Trash spearmen. They have some javelin up front. There's basically nothing that could be a danger for our military. Just because we are that much more advanced. Alright. We're gonna put these guys all in melee mode. I want them to throw their javelins still. Some of them. So we're gonna wait a little bit longer. See, they've pulled back some units to cover against our cavalry on this side. And they're now charging us. So let's go for a nice group attack. I've had a look at the footage after the last battle to find out what's been causing so much damage to our Corps Prima, although we don't have one here. The main thing really is that they are a prime target for enemy skirmishers. They really like targeting the Corps Prima in the center. This might be a bit of trouble, so we're gonna keep this unit back for my spaghetti line here. Because we have a smaller front line than the enemy with our units. I don't want to push too far here either. They've retreated their units here in an interesting maneuver. We're gonna run around this. Our elephants are gonna be faster than these units. I'm gonna keep our legionary cavalry back over here actually. Broke a unit on this side already. I think we're gonna try and run in here and delete these skirmishes. You see lots of enemy units already fleeing from the front line. Our Scutaria are in the battle too, and you see they just got 125 kills, so that's definitely not bad. Right, our elephants, we can move them in here now. I think that's probably the best spot. We can move them over on this side, but it'll take a little bit too long for my taste. Plus we have a lot of cavalry over here and legionaries that are already freed up. Let's actually run in here too. Even though these are skirmish cavalry units, these guys are already fairly shaken. And they're steady, but with the cavalry unit charging them, I think that's going to be enough. Our cavalry got caught again. No, it's my bad. I should have paid more attention to these guys. Well, that was sloppy, but oh well. It was still a decent battle for us. And honestly, considering the balance of power, the end result here is pretty fine. You can see on the damage that we took on the legionaries, what I said with 8 melee attack isn't really going to be any issue. These guys lost 2 men at most. These guys lost the most with 2 men and they got 165 kills. Now yeah, that's the first Getuli army decimated. They're going to run away, but we can probably chase them to their death. Yeah, I mean, we have so much movement. Get rid of them. And that just leaves the settlement for us to take. We can turn our army around and they'll actually be in range in this turn, which is pretty disgusting. So the Getuli are still taking attrition inside of their settlement, I think. No? Nope, never mind. So killing the other army actually fixed their attrition problems. Do we fight this ourselves? These are two primarily our auxiliary troops. So they'll be pretty easy to replenish. And that is the Getuli done too. Now, unfortunately, we still don't have a lot of money to fix these buildings, but things have improved a little bit. So I think I'm going to spend some money here. I don't know if getting another fishing port would be risky in this region, or if we should perhaps go for shipwright. You know what? Let's get another fishing port. We will have to make sure to stabilize this place properly. So I think we're going to combine this with a Temple of Mercury here, which will give us wealth from all sources. That's quite fitting, but also extra public order, sanitation, and so on. I very rarely go double temple in any region, but I think it's pretty appropriate here. And we'll leave one army down for now, while the other guys can already turn around, especially this legion here. Ooh, these guys actually took they took all of the damage again. I don't know why that happens sometimes, right? These armies here took barely any damage, while these guys took all of it, which is a little bit disappointing. That they will need heavy replenishment. All right, outside of that, I'm going to hold on to my money as we do still have the negative impacts of our decision to become an empire here to deal with. Now, another thing that we should look at is the loyalty. So if we go into the faction screen, you see that there's 0 risk of a secession, and the loyalty across the board is absolutely fantastic, to the point where I'm actually going to get rid of the edict that we have down here. We really don't need it anymore. See, there's a big battle happening up there between the Artabri and the Averni, who are in there with 2 full armies. Lusitani turning around. Are they going to go for a desperation attack down here? Yeah, looks like it. They should have waited for the rest of their army. Might have had a chance, but like this, I don't see that happening. Saves us some manpower. Ooh. Oh yeah, there was a rebellion that started over here. So we'll probably have to retake this place, unfortunately. But that's how it is in war-torn regions sometimes. Right, occupy this again. And let's send these guys back. Yeah, we'll have a rebellion over here. We're already taxing this place, so that's totally fine. The Lusitani might reach us as well, but we have enough troops in that settlement to be able to defend that without too much of an issue. Our income is now in the positive again, which is great to see. And the public order impact should also ease up over the next few turns, right? It's going to take a little bit more pain for us to push through this. I'm actually going to remove taxes in Sicily completely. But these regions over here are totally fine. Now, our future faction heir, potentially, TM, has leveled up, and he's very much going to be a city governor. The reason being, he has some traits that are just not fantastic. Specifically one that is philosophic, which is going to give us reduced morale during offensive battles. He's useful as a general, but I think we're better off leaving him in settlements. So we're gonna go just Rifle Sovereign, Unwavering Patriot, and every tick of Unwavering Patriot, as you can see down here, this just gave us like 600 income. So there was another rebellion here, but I think the Tulinki or somebody attacked them last turn. Either way, it's fine. Public order here continues to decline. Should probably send one army back into Cisalpina. We have an army down here now who we're going to put into patrol stands. That's already going to help a little bit. Oops, governor wasn't governing. Let's go through our list of governors. This is actually something I recommend you do every now and then, because sometimes they will just stop. But it looks like things are fine now. So, public order is good down here. Some of our newer territories are actually doing way better than the other ones for some reason. We're going to send these two armies over to Egypt. Or, well, close to Egypt. Because I think we'll have to deal with the Nasamons eventually. Now, this is quite a run. This will take a little while. Never mind. Okay, well, Egypt just took over Orgila, so never mind. The Nasamons aren't going to be any trouble anymore. But you know what? We're going to send our armies over there anyways, because with our enemies over here being pretty much defeated, outside of the Averni, who we're pretty decent friends with right now, we need somewhere to expand. I don't really feel like attacking the Averni right now, so I think our Fury might need a new enemy to be channeled. We'll also send this army over here along the coast and back into Italy, perhaps into Germania, perhaps to Illyria. The Senate has yet to decide, right? Alright, Lusitani finally destroyed. Rebellion spawn. Oh my god. Okay, let's deal with this real quick. You guys have to turn around and retake Ibora once more, and this time I suppose we'll let you sit next to the settlement. I want to see the manpower left. Oh, well, that's actually not too bad. I thought it would be worse. 32,000. 59. Okay, no, I take that back. This place is actually fine. The place that's not fine is Katuba. 13,000 is really horrific. Okay, we'll continue sending these armies along the coast. We're gonna hold back on any of these upgrades, as hard as it is. Because there are more important things to spend that money on right now. In fact, we somehow need to get our hands on 300 more income this turn. This army, I'm gonna have them get out of Octoduran. And these guys, I think, will do the same thing at Korea, and hopefully that will help prevent further rebellions for the time being. These guys will pull back into Cisalpina, get them out of the region for supply reasons, although this has made the public order a little bit worse. So as far as the unstable regions go, Hispania is in the negative, but fairly stable. It should improve pretty soon. Going through the list, Numidia is fine, Betica is fine, Corsica and Sardinia is going to be fine. Lusitania is, yeah, they really don't like us, but it's okay. We will work on that. First of all, we need a bit of money again, and for that we'll need to tax places. You know what? I think we should actually start taxing things again, because the places who are going to revolt against us, they're going to revolt anyways. And the places that are fine are going to be fine. Now, the Reti here are still raiding us, but they're going to get wiped out very soon. I don't want to chase them too far. We'll just stick close to our settlements that we've conquered in the Alps and let that happen until they can't do that anymore. The positive thing with this army getting another chance to wipe out a rebel army is the fact that we can give this guy new skills, which is very profitable and actually improves our public order quite a lot. We're gonna get rid of these 2 slums here right now, so our income situation has improved. And then next turn we will fix this region here. Okay, rebellion at Ebora as usual, but this time we were smart enough to keep the army in there. Now, the Averni up here might eventually become a threat towards us, and you can see they are quite powerful. So this will be a nice big war that we'll have to wage against them if we want to push into this region, which, make no mistake, we do. Let's take a look at diplomacy. Right now we are on good terms, not fantastic. This could turn very quickly. We do have a non-aggression pact, and they are not interested in anything more than that. So yeah, we'll definitely have to keep an eye on the Averni and keep some armies along the border. So I think we should definitely keep an army presence down here in Catuba, Olisipo, Tarraco, basically in Spain. Maybe even along this river here, right? So there's these crossings. At least 1 legion in the Massalia territory, and that would probably be enough to buy us some time should the Averni decide to attack. We could probably also move this army up, which might be a better garrison force, especially up here in the Massalia territory. Considering these are Massalian hoplites, I think that is quite fitting. So let's move these guys up instead of moving them over to Egypt as well, as we're moving like 3 stacks. Well, we're now moving 2 stacks. These guys as well as these guys. You see Syracuse is now pretty much fine. We'll move these guys over here and we'll start patrolling again. Our navy is almost in range of these pirates now. It's going to be 1 more turn, which has obviously contributed to the negative public order in the region. But yeah, one of the positive impacts of being an empire is improve. Ooh. Ooh. Speak of the devil, huh? I knew what I was doing when I was moving troops over to the border with Egypt. It's gonna be a while, yeah, but we have an army in Sicily and also a fleet nearby.
The wise man bars his doors and looks for shield brothers. What say you?
The Nervi? I don't think so. Just a non-aggression pact. I'm not really too fussed. Okay, slave revolt imminent in Retia. That's fine. We can crush that. Still not taxing this place. The public order is just bad because all of the buildings here are destroyed. And we're really not making enough money to combat that. But yeah, as I was saying, one of the positive impacts of being an empire is actually the improved loyalty, which is going to come in more handy the later on we get into the game, as a civil war would break off so much of your empire that would be really painful to take. But also it's going to combat the negative loyalty impact that we're going to get from increasing our empire level. So for example, empire level 7 is going to be negative 25 loyalty. And empire level 8 at the max rank is actually going to be negative 35 loyalty. So especially if you play on a harder difficulty mode, this is going to be even more severe, which sort of turns the Roman, the Rome 2 endgame into you fighting against yourself. I think that was sort of the intention behind that, behind the entire loyalty system. Okay, so this army we can actually move around now, as we have another army coming up that's going to go to Massalia. Move these guys into Cisalpina. And from there on out, we can continue expanding pretty much wherever you want. Some enemies that I want to avoid are actually the Tauriski, because the Tauriski are military allies of the Loigos, and the Loigos are military allies of the Chatti and the Latovici and the Iguiones. In any case, this is like a giant Germanic doom alliance up here that we'll have to deal with. I would rather tackle the Averni than them, to be honest. But some enemies that we might be able to tackle are the medium Matrici, who are allied to the Nervi, as well as perhaps the Tulingi, who are really not friends of anyone. So they might be a good target for us to go for next. They've made themselves only enemies, and their settlement is already part of our region, Retia et Noricum. But before we do that, I really want to obviously get these settlements here fixed, as we just don't have the money for it right now. Gotta really work on that and tax some of these regions here again. So Sicily should be fine soon. So we're gonna tax this place. That's 5,000 more in the bank. But these two, you know, we can't tax that. There's no way. Plus, we'll be making very little money off of that anyways. Okay, now this army is still patrolling. We will be able to take out the pirates here this time. We're actually taking attrition, which comes down to us being at sea for so long. We didn't have any supplies left. We're gonna put these guys at port and replenish, and then we'll chase these pirates again. These guys booted it over there and then turned around, so they were at sea for a long time. As the slave uprising. I think they're going to be at the end of this turn when they will attack. So they basically become their own faction. Why is your face so zoomed in? Okay, so Epirus is declaring war on us here. And we're going to try and call our allies here, as they are pretty nearby. And they join us, fantastic. That obviously changes things a little bit. We'll have to move armies over to Epirus now. Okay, so the slave revolt started in Octoduran, down here. This is not too much of a problem. We'll be able to wipe these guys out this turn. And we'll also resolve this, as we have bigger threats to deal with now. Epirus. I did not expect that. Epirus was pretty positive towards us for a while, but I think what just pushed them over was possibly our expansionism. I saw that the relationship has decreased a little bit. Move these guys back. Yeah, I want to keep these guys up here to keep some presence in the Alps. Meanwhile, this army, we're going to retreat a little bit. I don't know if Epirus is already by the border here. These guys we're gonna also move over here, although they need a bit of replenishment. This army we will redirect into Italy itself along the coast, as obviously they could attack us from Apollonia. That's actually pretty likely. We're going to redirect our army from Sicily up here as well. We're going to wipe out these pirates here real quick, as we need to free up this navy. And actually, maybe we'll pick up one of the armies that is currently in Africa. Although we will also need to reinforce our border in, well, with Egypt, right? As they also canceled agreements with us. So we're gonna move these guys into Carthage. And then I think we will move this army in there, as they need a few more units anyways. And I think this will be a good opportunity to get that done. Now, you guys continue pushing in this direction. We really need you along the border now. This has changed things a lot, hasn't it? We are basically forced to push into Illyria now. I could try and negotiate with Epirus.
We are not known as patient people.
Well, they would go for peace right away, but I'm not gonna do that actually. We'll keep pushing for a little bit and then see where that takes us. We might lose Taris here. Honestly, if they really put this army in there and set sail for Taris, this would be an interesting battle using our garrison. Maybe there's another army over here in the Fog of War that we're not seeing. In Retia et Noricum, we really need to stabilize things too, so we'll fix this temple. We are going to fix this and get some grain pits. And that's all we have money for, I'm afraid.
We offer this as a sign of accord reached and new accords to come.
That is the genius. The Greek genius diplomacy. Declare war and then next turn offer peace as well as 18,000 wealth. I don't think we're gonna go for that. As stupid as it is, I think I'm committed to this now. Even if they take some settlement of mine, though I'm not expecting them. Okay, they're not even gonna do that. They didn't even have their armies ready. Now, you can see the medium Matrici are chilling along the border here at Octoduran, which is a little bit concerning when I sent my spy in this direction. This place right here is going to be a nice industrial region, I think. So that's how we'll build it. We'll also get one of these right here. A public field. We should have an open slot, 2 open slots over here. So we'll go for 2 of these. It's also a small province, so I've decided to go for another libraries building down here, help improve our empire maintenance across the board. Speaking of which, let's take another look. Gone down a slight amount. We should really get the research for this. It's going to take 13 turns, plus obviously these 2, so add another 13 to that. But for the time being, we will finish the consensual contracts over here, still at 430% research rate. Okay, our navy can now land at Akragas, which we will do, and send them up here as well. Unfortunately, we have no money this turn to recruit anything. We'll live with that, that's fine. This navy should take another turn of replenishment, so we'll park them in Syracuse. And then next turn, we will use them to assist these 2 armies as they set sail for Taras. At which point we will have 3 armies in Italy, of which I'm sure we can send some over the water to take some of these settlements, while we have 2 legions ready up in the north, ready to go and attack Epirus from this side. These guys are actually close to replenished. You would hope so, considering we are in Italy. The replenishment should be pretty rapid, especially because our armies are just composed of mostly proletarians, which are plentiful across the empire. Now both Raetia and Noricum as well as Lusitania are getting better, and things are definitely looking up. And we're already taxing everything normally again, except for these 2 regions where we've turned it off entirely. And I think we're pretty much done with any sort of negative effects. I mean, there's probably still some lingering effects. You can see our influence is still high, but again, this is going to be a long-term thing where we'll just have to kind of wait that out. We don't have enough money to organize games, but this is definitely something I'll be doing to get these guys to to career level 4 for the wives, and then we'll see where it goes. Hopefully, our influence is going to decrease a little bit, but we also don't want it to get too low, right? At this point, because there's no reason for us to be this influential anymore, we really want to shoot for that. I think like 2 ticks lower is the best that we can go for.
Darkness gathers, but you can be the light for my people.
Okay, too risky, you want a non-aggression pact. And you know what? We're going to go for that. I know that the Toriski currently hold territories that are part of a region that we really want, but I think we'll be busy with Epirus for a while, pushing into Illyria more than 10 turns. So I think this is a good move for us, just stabilizing things a little bit. All right, this army, we're going to move up to the north. These guys continue moving down. Epirus still hasn't done anything since they declared war on us, really. This navy is gonna head to Taras.
In honor,
Well, they're getting a bit desperate now, aren't they?
And why do you move away in such a fashion?
No, we're not going to client state them. They hold too much territory for us to client state them. We're going to conquer them fully. And now we are going to go for, like I said, the molded architecture. Along the way, we'll get this right here. Not great. Crane mechanics is important for the Colosseum that we want to build. And then obviously molded architecture itself is also going to be good. Down here in Lusitania, we're not going to need the shield maker or the blacksmith, as we already have these upgrades from other places. So we're going to go for the ironworks. And then we'll also get ourselves a Shrine of Vulcan down here, which is going to combine very well with that industrial income in general. Now, our army in Africa is going to, first of all, continue moving along the coast, but also I'm going to replace some units here. The Ligurian cavalry has served us well, the Libyan cavalry not so much, but it is what it is. We're going to replace them and get some better units here. And we'll be doing that in the next turn or so. Might as well get rid of them right now and get our hands on some of this legionary cavalry. In the same vein, we're going to get rid of these Sicilian militia units. We'll keep these mercenaries that we have. And we'll probably get our hands on some more infantry. Now, I'm actually thinking we'll get rid of these hoplites, which are also sort of outdated at this point. And we'll be replacing them with some of these legionaries, I think. We'll just go for a small contingent of like six legionaries. And I think we'll be better served by those. And that's all of the money for this turn spent. And I think this is a good spot to end this episode. So what we've done is stabilized our empire even more. We've taken some territories in the Alpine regions, which is going to protect Italy even more, but also means that we are now very much in contact with some of the Germanic tribes up here. For example, the Chatti, the Loigos are nearby. There's still some expanding we can do, for example, in the Tulingi territories, who are pretty much not friends of anyone. The Mediometrici really don't like us. The Averni are sort of neutral towards us right now. We're trading and we have a non-aggression pact, but that can swing around very quickly, which is why we have fortified the border a little bit, which we'll continue to work on. We'll definitely have to keep an eye on these guys, as things can turn around very quickly. And in that case, we'll want to be ready to attack the Averni. But first priority, I think, is going to be defeating Epirus. And that's going to be it for now. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider leaving a like down below, as it's a great way to support the channel, as it helps other people to find these videos too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.